Guys, what's going on? My name is Louis, and God bless to every single one of you. Today is March 9, 2026, and welcome to the Grand Supreme News Channel. Guys, we have an urgent breaking news coming out. The US President deploys Doomsday nuclear command planes to the Mideast as WW3 fears surge. It says here the U.S. military terrifying Doomsday planes have taken the skies as fear of a nuclear biblical war inch closer to reality. The flight tracking data has captured multiple launches of the Navy E-6B Mercury Strategic Airborne Command aircraft since the biblical war in Persia began on February 28. These giant planes, constructed using the frames of the Boeing 707, are built to survive a biblical nuclear war and coordinate sleeping giant military response from the air. Alright, so we're going to see what's going on here, guys. Before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. And for those of you that want to contribute to the channel, we do have the Cash App link and the PayPal link in the comments box and also description box. Once again, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Happy Monday. God bless to every single one of you. I'm praying that everyone is having a blessed day. If this is your first time, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Again, thank you so much for your support. So this is the U.S. Navy E-6B Mercury. Is called the Doomsday plane because of its ability to survive nuclear biblical war and coordinate a sleeping giant military response. Okay. Specifically, this bird served as a flying radio station and command center for the commander and the Secretary of War, carrying special antennas that can even reach nuclear-armed submarines deep underwater, along with being able to talk to satellites, land-based military posts, and underground missile facility. The Mercury fleet is capable of controlling a nuclear strike should WW3 break out, and the sleeping giant was already under strike. Two, not one, but two of these E-6B Mercury flights, Doomsday plane, were spotted over the sleeping giant on March 2nd, 2026, one traveling from the Gulf Coast and landing at Naval Air Station Potomac River in Maryland, and other taking off from and later landing back at the Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska. And since those flights, there have been reports from military news outlets of more E-6B launches heading across the Atlantic Ocean to the Persian Gulf. Once again, the sleeping giant declined to comment on the reported flights due to operation security. Tight lip. You got two Doomsday planes. What's going on here? Tight lip. It says here, the main job of these birds in the sky is to carry out the ominous task called the take charge and move out, or takamo. Now it says here, essentially, it means that the E-6B Doomsday plane could be used to send orders from the commander-in-chief or top leaders to Navy nuclear submarines, even if normal phone lines or ground station were to be destroyed. Now, in a crisis, these birds, the planes, are sent to certain areas to stay in the air or near key spots. Now, this keep communication links alive if ground bases get hit or jammed. In the Mid-E, the sleeping giant military bases, embassies, and other civilian targets have come under strike from Persia missiles barrages during the first week of the conflict. And you guys already know there's some stuff going down. As I make this video, there's a lot of stuff going down right now. And now we're talking about oil prices, $115 per barrel. I mean, there's so many things that's happening, guys. I think it's very important that people get more involved in the Word of God, find peace with Jesus Christ, repent, and very important to stock up and pray for each other in these tough times that we are living. One thing I tell you guys is that Donald's going to say all these things. Everything is fine and dandy. We got the greatest economy in the world. Okay, that's fine and dandy. To him, it's great. But to others, like the poor, it's not. People need to put more faith and trust in Jesus Christ. The military typically launches them for readiness drills, training, or to show strength without actually calling on them to coordinate any strikes. Now, the warnings of nuclear escalation has continued to mount since the initial strike on Tehran by the Sleeping Giant and the Holy Land, with Persia allies in the Red Dragon and the Bear, both warning that the situation could spiral out of control and lead to a large biblical war. Now, according to reports, nuclear-armed, the Bear has begun aiding Persia by sharing intelligence on the position of its sleeping giant forces in the Mid-E, a move that could be the final spark that ignites WW3. Now, despite being originally rolled out 40 years ago, the E-6 is still viewed as Sleeping Giant's most survivable aircraft that can carry out this potentially world-ending mission without failure. If you see this bird, there's no windows on the side. Usually planes have all these windows. This one doesn't have windows, except for the front nose, which again the pilot needs to see what's going on. But everything else is no windows. And the reason why, it protects those inside this bird from the huge light. You know, that light that when they drop the nuke, you have that flash brighter than the sun. And well, it was meant to protect. So that's why there's no windows on these birds. E-6B Mercury is capable of communicating with all of the Sleeping Giant military forces, from the air, from submarines to underground missile installations. And one thing I tell you guys, there's been a lot of Doomsday plane going on. I mean, I know this Doomsday plane, and, you know, there's always, you know, on standby 24/7. But there's been a lot of them just across the Sleeping Giant, East Coast to the West Coast to the East Coast, and now they're heading towards the Mid-East. So pay very close attention. It says here another E-6B flight was seen taking off from Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska on March 2nd and returning hours later. Offutt is believed to be one of the bunkers the commander could flee to during a biblical war. Bunkers. Wow. See, we don't have stuff like that. Our bunker is better. Our bunker is the kingdom of heaven. That's our bunker. It says here, the birds carry a standard crew of 22 and are more than 150 feet in length. The Navy reported, adding that each Doomsday plane costs $141 million. And you got two of them in the air. It's kind of crazy that the MQ-9 Reaper is more than is worth more than the Doomsday plane. MQ-9 Reaper, I think, is like over 200 million. I could be wrong. It's an unmanned drone, but it's worth more than a Doomsday plane. That's crazy. Doomsday planes can travel approximately 7,000 miles and stay airborne for nearly 3 days while refueling in the air. Man. And they can reach an altitude of 40,000 feet, higher than normal commercial jets. You know who pays for that? We did. We paid for that. We did. The TAX. And it goes to the most powerful ones. So it says here the E6 has been in service since the 1980s. 80s is a good year. That's the year I was born, the 80s, when they were first tasked with carrying out Tacoma during the final years of the Biblical War, the Cold War. Now, the E6A, an earlier version of Mercury, was upgraded in the late 1990s to the current E6B version, which added that the high-frequency communications arrays and was also given a mission codename Looking Glass. Now, Looking Glass is the Military Airborne Strategic Command post, which facilitates the launch of intercontinental ballistics. All right. So once again, very important news here. You got some Doomsday birds in the sky. You got a couple. Donald deploys not one but two to the mid-E. To the mid-E. Not here in the Sleeping Giant, but we're talking about in the other side of the world. All right, let me take you back to X really quick. If you can, make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe and notification bell, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So Donald tells the New York Post, no reason to panic over the Persia war oil price surge. I have a plan for everything. So Donald said he has a plan for everything. All right, so I might have to make that video in my other channel. So Donald has a plan. He has a plan when it comes to the oil prices. One thing I tell you guys is that yesterday, the oil price was like $3.40 or $3.50 in Florida, and then I went to another gas station, and like hours later, and it was like $3.30. It went down 20 cents. So Donald said he has a plan. He has a plan when it comes to, oil price. So there's another news here. I'm not gonna show this one here, but it says the Sleeping Giant bombs another Persian Navy ship. So I'm gonna upload this video over my Patreon. Once again, the Sleeping Giant bombs another Persian Navy ship. All right, so I'm not seeing much going on, but Donald did talk about something about soccer. Is Donald into soccer? Hold on, give me a second here. Let me just fix this really quick, guys. Australia is making a terrible humanitarian mistake by allowing the Persian national women's soccer team to be forced back to Persia, where they will most likely be out. Don't do it, Prime Minister. Give the asylum, the sleeping giant will take them if you won't. Thank you for your attention to this matter. One thing I tell you guys is, the world is waking up, and a lot of them fear the Donald. I mean, they seeing what Donald's doing to again, you got Venezuela leader, the gang of Mexico leader, what happened in Ecuador. I mean, what's going on in Persia? The world, the world is waking up and saying, okay, Donald's really serious about all this here. So again, this is where we at right now, guys. So I will keep you updated with all these nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. I do have some more videos coming up, so check out my description box, all the links to my channels, and also I do have Rumble and other platforms. Make sure you follow me in all the platforms, guys. Thank you so much for watching. For those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, Lord Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Once again, guys, $5 a month Patreon. We get you access to our live stream. We go live once a week. We talk about things that we cannot talk about on the platform. Also, I posted videos today. Those links will be in the comments box. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. Put your faith and trust in Jesus Christ, for he's the only way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father except through Jesus. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.